summer breeze too. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me for Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox. I am Xavier Fox. On Monday mornings, Thursday, and Friday afternoons, we're going to continue this journey. Be ready to laugh and open to learn. We're going to learn other viewpoints on relationships, information on health and fitness, investing, sex, and much more. Today, we're going to kick it off with Barbershop Talk with Jeff Davis. Who knows what conversations will come up and what kind of mess he's going to start. Then he's back, Mr. Javon Watson of the Javon Watson Experience here in Chicago. He's back for the full interview. If you're a fan like I am, be sure and tune in. If you want to participate on this show today, feel free to Zoom in using the link, which can be found on my Facebook page. And I think there's a couple people that probably might want to use that link.
Yeah,
on my Facebook page is Xavier Fox.
definitely.
Or you can join the public Facebook group, Let's Talk About It with Xavier Fox, where you can get all the info and interact with the personalities. If you go to xavierfox.com/radio-show, you can get the schedule for the month of January to see when your favorite personality or topic is scheduled. So we're about to get to it. Mr. Jeff Davis is in the house. What's going on? How you doing?
What's up? What's up? I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Your year kicking it off really well. You know, this is our first show of the year. So how's everything going?
Yeah, well, happy New Year, and everything is going good. I'm still moving and shaking as usual. Nothing changes. I'm just doing something different. Got a couple of projects that I'm working on, and some new business ventures that I'm embarking on as well.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds
Getting
good.
ready for the wedding, and
Okay, so you getting married in April, right?
Yep, April 7th.
Okay, all right. You got your dates. You gonna be taken off the market. Oh my goodness.
Shit, I've been off the market.
All the women in Dallas crying.
No, they ain't crying. Well, no, they ain't crying. They ain't crying. I ain't gonna say that. But it might be a few sad ones. It might be a bunch of happy ones. After you handle, we're from the Midwest. After you handle a couple people kind of rough, they glad nah, she get to deal with that.
Yeah, that sounds like a line that a man would say. Well, so your your segment, Barbershop Talk. Yep.
I'm gonna let you have that one.
Barbershop Talk. So on your show, we talk about whatever comes up and whatever happens to be on your mind. And that could be just about anything. It might even be the women that's happy that you off the market. But anyway, so what's on your mind today?
So I was up early this morning, and I happened to jump on Facebook, and I saw your post about the garbage man not taking your tires.
Yes.
And I'm gonna address that first before I address some of the comments that was made in there. I look at the post and I read the post, and you got two guys there that are, first of all, you garbage men. Garbage men pick up garbage. I don't know what garbage men don't pick up garbage. I mean, here in Texas, they don't even get out of the truck. The truck pulls up and they got the little forks on the side of it, and it just, so whatever's in the garbage can is in the garbage. They don't get out of the truck to pick up garbage off the side of the street or bag, throw bags in. But I know you're in Milwaukee and Chicago.
The house is in Milwaukee.
Okay, so yeah, I know in Milwaukee they get out the truck and they pick up garbage. Yep. So you asking them, and I'm sure you asked them nicely.
Absolutely.
And so the black man not doing it and the white man doing it, there's a big difference in who you're talking to. So we'll like I said in my comment, there's no color barrier on ignorance or a gentleman.
Right, that's true.
So what you had is a black man being ignorant being a nigga, and not wanting to be not want to be responsive, or wanting to be, not, because you could say he didn't want to do his job. You could say a lot of stuff, but what he didn't want to do was none of the above. He didn't want to do his job because it sounded like to me, I can imagine in my head that he wasn't even the one picking up the garbage. He was standing there smoking, and the white guy was picking up the garbage, throwing it in the back of the truck.
So when I came to the door, because I actually came to the door because they hadn't picked up the garbage. You know, I'm not always at the house in Milwaukee.
Right,
And
right,
so sometimes there's very little garbage. And it
right.
seems like they hadn't really I had put garbage in there and it hadn't been picked up in like a month. Now, there's rarely ever food in there. So it's not like, you know, my garbage smells because I'm not there enough to have like a lot of food stuff in there. But it hadn't been picked up. And I wanted to ask them why it hadn't been picked up in a month. That's what I went to the door for originally.
Right.
And then I saw the tire in the yard. And so when I said, that's not mine. And then he looked at it and he said, we don't take tires. And I said, okay. I said, but it's not mine. Can you take it out of the yard for me? And he said, we don't take tires. And then he turned around and walked away. Now, when I came to the door, he was organizing the trash can. So I don't know if the white guy was the one responsible to take the trash can to the truck and dump it and then bring it back. And he was putting them back in line. We have 3 of them. You got the recycle, and then we have 2 other ones.
Yeah.
But when he walked away, the white guy was still dumping one. So when the white guy came back, I said, can you take that tire and put it on the curb for me? And he said, right here? I said, yeah. And so because I mean, they already dressed for it. You know, I'm standing in the door in a house coat because I was in there washing dishes when they pulled up. And so he's dressed for it. He's outside. They got on gloves, and you got to pass the curb to get to the truck. And I just couldn't understand why the black guy wouldn't do that. And I didn't really understand why the black guy had the whatever that cigar thing with the tip on it is. I couldn't understand why he had that hanging out his mouth. Maybe they allow it. I've never seen a garbage man with a cigar thing hanging out his mouth before. So that the way he was just kind of looking at me, you know, you have a lot of these, and I know that some men really follow the dude, you know, I don't say his name, but you know who that dude is.
I know who you're talking about.
Right. And there are, now in his defense and or mine, there are things that he says that I agree with as well. I just don't agree with his delivery. I think he's very rude and insulting. However, there are a lot of young guys who do follow him, and it's like you could tell who they are. It's like they have an immediate chip on their shoulder with any woman.
Yeah, like your boy Charles.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, like your boy Charles. I'm gonna say his name.
Okay, well,
I'm sure he listens. If he doesn't listen to him, the verbiage would insinuate that he does. But go ahead, finish saying what you're saying. I just wanted to make sure if he's listening, so he can, if he want to get on this Zoom, come on, get on this Zoom and get some of this dust I'm gonna throw on you.
Okay, well, I just tagged him on the thread and told him he was being called out on the show. So if he's available, I am sure he will hop right on and attempt to get you together. So yeah, it was like, so, you know, I don't necessarily look my age. And so sometimes younger people, younger guys specifically, really can't tell how old I am. And the way that he looked at me was like he was disgusted, right? Like I was his baby mama and I had put him on child support, or
Right.
I was some chick that was trying to get his attention to get his check from the sanitation department. You know, that's how he looked at me. And I was just looking at him because I'm thinking to myself, this is really weird. I mean, I've never really asked. Now, there was some other guys in the neighborhood that are on my Facebook page that actually defended the garbage dude, because they said that garbage men don't pick up tires, and if he moved it to the curb and somebody reported him, he could be reprimanded for littering. Well, the curb on the grass part is still my property, actually. So you know, I asked you to put it in a different area on my property because I got to figure out how to get rid of this thing now, right?
Right.
And so when the white guy just went and did it, then the black guy actually reprimanded the white guy, which was, you know, he's like, why did you do that? You should have left that there. That's her problem.
Right.
So that's what made me think that it was more personal than professional, because if it were professional, the white guy would have told me the same thing, right?
Right. Right.
But he just did it. So the guys from the neighborhood said that Milwaukee is so racist, which I mean, everywhere there's some racism. And whereas the white guy may not be reprimanded for doing it, the black guy could have lost his job. And then I'm thinking to myself, but who was gonna tell? Because it's 9:30 in the morning and ain't nobody outside but me. And I'm not even outside. I'm standing in the door. Ain't nobody outside but them. The
Right.
garbage truck, we live on a one-way street. The garbage truck is in the middle of the street. Gay can't nobody get past. So it ain't like there's traffic passing by and you don't know who it is. It ain't nobody out there but us. So who's gonna tell? So
Right.
yeah, it was just really a crazy situation. And I just felt like it shows, one, the difference in the upbringing of people sometimes. And also I really believe that that mentality, which is what I was afraid of when that dude first showed up on the scene. I was afraid that that mentality was going to spread into just general interactions between men and women. Because it's not like I was trying to date him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So his level of attitude and dislike should not have been directed at me, because I'm just asking you, can you take that tire while you're walking toward the curb and leave it at the curb?
But just like I said in the comment, you know, uh, 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 people go through stuff in relationships and they take it out on the next person. You know, when a man gets cheated on, and see, women do the same thing. So I'll just say, but it makes a man, because more men cheat than women do.
Right.
So and so to put it in a category where there's, put it in a situation where more men do a thing than women does. Men should not, just because of that fact, and I know everybody's not like me, but just because of that fact, men shouldn't have an issue when women cheat on them. If you're a cheater and you get cheated on, why would you get upset? Why would you be pissed?
Hey, because you know the game comes back to you.
Yeah,
You live by the
it comes
sword,
back.
you die
Yeah,
by the sword.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So why? What are you mad for? So when and it happens when people get cheated on, they take it out on the next person.
Even if you have nothing to do with it.
Even if you have nothing to do with it. So I mean, so it's sort of a soft trait that I look at. I call it soft, because if you got cheated on, if it goes the same for women, and I say to a lot of females, you know, women that pursue men set themselves up to get hurt.
I say that too, but a lot of women nowadays are just, and you know, men, these men are encouraging it. They're like, why wait for some guy to come and talk to you and he not what you want? Go after, you know, the
Yeah,
man that you want.
but that's soft. That's
And then
soft.
a lot of men want women to come and pursue them. They're like, you know, they want to sit back and wait for the woman to make the first move. I don't get that no more. Oh,
And
what is that?
I don't get it at all. I've never gotten it. Now, in my younger days as a player, I was cool with it because I knew I knew what it came with. I knew when a woman walked up to me and asked me, "Hey, handsome, how you doing?" I already know where we're going.
Right, because you already, the invitation is laid out there at that point.
Yeah, exactly. But now in the past 15 years, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I look. I try not to, but I look down on women that do so. I mean because I find it myself personally, I find it disrespectful.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and that's what happens. That's what happens to men that go. It's the out of your league thing.
Mm.
And if a man approaches a woman, and it's all about how you approach the woman. But if you approach the woman with your pockets turned inside out, and you showing her what you got, and putting everything on the table, now if you're messing with the right chick, she gonna mess with you just because you offering.
Mm-hmm.
And she gonna milk you for everything she can get out of you. And then when the titty run dry, she don't want to talk to you no more. And now you on Facebook slandering women because you just got all your shit took because you was playing baseball out of your league.
Man, it's difficult for women because you have. So here's the thing for me. That's why you and I talk about relationships periodically, and I am kind of neutral in the middle right now. I'm not going to pursue a man, but you have so many men that get on Facebook and social media and they act as if they speak for the whole gender of men. And I used to, be on there saying, you don't speak for every man. Men are all different. And I know that to be true because, people think I'm cute now, but I was really cute in my 20s and I dated different people. And I know that different people are different,
Yeah.
and so you got men saying, be assertive. And, if you see a guy, go for it or whatever. Now, I do believe in flirting and I'm kind of a flirt. I have learned that over time about myself and I enjoy flirting, but flirting and pursuing is two totally different things. And
Right.
because I'm a natural flirt, apparently it comes natural because sometimes I've accused of flirting and I didn't even know it. I tend to flirt with everybody to some degree. I have flirted with unattractive men. It makes them smile. I'm not doing it, ain't going no further than that. I've even flirted with women. That totally ain't going nowhere. But it's just
Watch out now. Watch out.
that energy. I like that energy of making people smile and the whole the way that they interact with you once you put that energy out there. It's just a more lighthearted interaction for me. And
Right.
and I do it naturally, so it's not something I do on purpose to achieve a goal. But the whole pursuing thing, now I know you're not gonna know the answer to this, so I'm not really asking the question for an answer. But what exactly do they expect? You got men talking about why don't the woman pay for the first date sometime? The first
Listen again, and I speak for a lot of men because I'm a barber. I talk to a lot of men. I don't know, like I don't hang out with dudes that want the woman to pay for the first bill or want the woman to pursue them. Now, as a player, I did. I hung around pimps and stuff like that, and that just go with the turf. But when as a man that and it's not that I just don't like it. I know that it's inappropriate. I know that it's wrong. I know that it's not and regardless of what your beliefs are, religions are, whatever you believe in, the design is the design. And we clearly see what happens when women pursue men. We see that every day. That's why there's a bunch of women out here hurt and they got shitted on and handled rough, or he did this and he did that. That's because you was going after him and you left yourself open. My favorite saying is when a woman pursues a man, she enters the Thunderdome with her heart on her sleeves already. She's already open for whatever it takes to have this guy because she's pursuing him. So when she gets shitted on, she accepts it until she doesn't accept it anymore.
And it's funny because I have a guy friend and his wife proposed to him, and he does things that she definitely wouldn't want him to do. And he said to me when I asked him about it one day, out of his own mouth, in these exact words, he said, she wanted to get married so bad, so I'm sure she'll put up with some stuff.
Right. Right.
And I was, at that particular moment, I was like, wow.
And it's absolutely true. Women will put up with things because they're going to get the guy that they want instead of allowing the guy that wants them to come get them. And those guys that, like your boy Charles, I went on his page and looked at some stuff on his page, and he made some stuff about pessimistic women and all that stuff. Promiscuous, not pessimistic, but promiscuous women. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like
Yeah.
those dudes to me, and I say I'm a bad dude. I'm a bad dude. I'm evenly yoked across the board. 80% of everything that I do is off the chain.
Okay.
So I'm I leave room because I know I'm not perfect, but I can do a lot of shit that regular dudes, these dudes that talk that shit on Facebook, they can't do. That's why they can't keep a woman, because they don't have experience in doing nothing. They don't know how to talk to a beautiful woman such as yourself, or just have general conversation without thinking something else is going to happen. You can't sit down and talk to a woman and have a regular conversation, just like you asked the clown to pick up the tire. It didn't have no meaning behind it, but whatever he was thinking, whatever was in his head, he just didn't feel like fucking with you today.
Man, the energy that he gave off was, you're a female and I don't like you. I ain't doing nothing for you. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt. That's the energy that he gave off. And so when he walked away, because I'm not that one that's gonna be out arguing and all that kind of stuff. I don't do drama and all of that kind of crap. So when he walked away, I was just like, okay, well, then the white guy came up and it wasn't a problem. And I get that you say that ignorance and being a gentleman has no color, and I agree. But do you think that there's a difference in the way the genders are raised? Maybe sometimes the colors, the races.
First of all, I go back. I'll go back to, and it's a part of my man's post that he put on his page. I went on his page to look at it, and he said, well, I'm gonna read the post, but I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. His post said, the promiscuous woman is an essential worker in breaking down the nuclear family. And I was like, what? But all of the stuff in that post, you read that post, you read the comments in it, and what people don't say is that the man is the person that leaves. Back in the day, the man was the dude that left the house. And it had nothing, because women never leave. Women hardly ever leave the relationship, especially in a marriage. In the 60s, 70s, 80s, women was hanging around until they just essentially got tired of getting shitted on.
They were putting up with a lot.
Putting up a lot of shit. Even in the 90s, they was putting up with a lot of shit.
Yeah, because there was a lot of second families and some third. Yep.
Yeah. So when you get to now, all of these dudes, you can say, because it happens in black and white family, Mexican families rarely, but you can say that some of these dudes missed the boat and didn't get taught some of the shit that they needed to be taught. You can say that some of them learned from their mother. You can say some of them learned from their uncles. Some of them didn't learn at all. but to learn it from the guy from the DNA, learn it from the guy that brought you into the world, learn it from the guy that planted the seed so that you were brought into the world. I'm gonna say that is different. And so I learned from my dad, and I learned from the woman I lost my virginity to at a young age.
Mm.
And her whole thing was to teach me what it was to please a woman. So now I get that lesson and the chivalry lesson, and I still to this day practice the chivalry part because I understand 7 years ago I got a very 7 to 8 years ago I got a very vivid understanding of what chivalry is, and it made me want to do it even more.
And what was that lesson? What happened?
Everything chivalry is for a man to protect his woman. It's a protection mechanism. It's all of it. Opening the door so you can go in first. If a man opens the door so you can go in first, he's looking over your shoulder inside, making sure everything is all right. And he's making sure that if anything is going on outside and it's unconscious, you're not thinking, let me let you in first for somebody to try to shoot you. You're not thinking that. It's just unconscious. You pull out the seat. And you checking the chair, making sure the chair is okay for your woman to sit down. It's unconscious, but that's what it is. When you let your woman in the car first, if anything was to be going down outside that car, at least she's safe in the car and you'll handle it. And then the return is that the woman is supposed to reach over and unlock the door or open the door for the man to get in. That's her returning the protection. Hurry up and get your ass in for something happened to you. See, people don't pay attention to that. They don't understand that. That's why they don't do it. I ain't opening no door for no bitch. Nigga, you're supposed to do that. You open the door for your grandmama.
Some of them probably won't. Some of them
probably won't. So because whatever a woman did to those ones that won't, it goes through every female. It works through every female until they have a daughter. And then you realize that, damn, I've been doing this shit to other people's daughter.
I think that is what happened with my dad when he wound up having me, because he was definitely a pretty well-known player in Milwaukee in his time. And, he told me one day that the daughter pays for the sins of the father. So he needed to teach me something. Otherwise, I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And, to some degree, I believe that I benefited from what he taught me. In some degree, I think it made me a little emotionless because a lot of the things that he told me, it felt as if maybe I should not give my heart. I should make sure that they are more invested in it than I am, because there is less likely for me to get hurt that way. And
but that's a true statement. It's a true statement. And see, you know where I get all my information from, and you know where how I learn. My dad's a preacher. I read the Bible. Watch this. Women, I personally know that women tell men they love them before the man would tell them. And I think that is wrong.
I don't never do that first.
Right. You shouldn't, because biblical principles say for the man biblical principles don't even tell a woman to love her husband. But she does, because she's doing what she's reciprocating what is given to her. So if the man is showing and saying and doing love, she gives that back automatically. So when a woman tells a man that she loves him, she's setting herself up for failure. Because
Wow.
we are supposed to tell you that we love you, but I don't believe that's just like a woman asking a man to marry him. Man, if that nigga don't want to marry you, when he ready to marry you, he gonna do it. I hear females say all the time, my mama told me that a man gonna come get what he want. A man gonna take care of you. A man gonna do this if he want to. And that's fucking true. A man is going to marry the woman that he wants to marry. If you're in a relationship for 10 years and that man ain't asked you to marry him yet, he ain't gonna never marry you.
Yeah, after 10 years, I mean, after
I only know
3,
one
I'm probably out of there.
I only know one person that did it. He married the girl that he was with for 16 years, and he had been shitting on that woman for 16 years.
Wow.
I personally know that he was doing other shit outside of dealing with that woman. But when he got tired of doing other shit, like I got tired of doing other shit, then he stopped shitting on that woman and he ended up marrying her after 16 years.
Wow.
So
I mean, okay, I know y'all got the time put in and stuff, but do you ever look at that woman and think that she is a little weak?
No, real dudes don't. Real dudes understand that this woman has been down for you from everything that you ever been through. This dude was in prison, she was there. This dude was doing all of the stuff that she was doing, and every time he went through something, he had somebody to call, and he called her and she performed her duty. And so real dudes recognize that, and real dudes recognize that. Hold on, I'm on the radio station. Real dudes recognize that, and we want to keep that, because we know if you done put up with all of this shit, one, I probably ain't got no more shit to give you.
You did all of the shit already.
Yeah, you done did all of the shit already. So one, and you done made it through this storm, and you still here. I got you, baby. You know what? You deserve this.
And what is this? So my ex, we were, because I'm not that woman. So when he did stuff that wasn't right, I would call him on it. Now I'm not one to be arguing and fussing and fighting and drama and all that kind of stuff. But I have a conversation, if we were supposed to do something and then at the last minute, all of a sudden you hanging with your boys, I'm like, well, couldn't you have told me this ahead of time? Whatever. If something don't seem right, I'm gonna ask, okay, you said this, but then this and this don't add up. So what's going on with that? And so 2 of the things he said to me, he said, you ask a lot of questions. And I'm like, how am I supposed to know what's going on if I don't ask questions? Besides that, I've had a talk show since 2002. I ask questions. That's kind of what I do all the time, every day, And then secondly, he told me one day, he said, you just not gonna let me get away with nothing, huh? So I guess he was looking for that chick that was just gonna be down with him no matter what he did to her. She was gonna be there no matter what. And yeah, it wasn't all that long after that I guess he decided he was gonna break up with me.
I mean, because and here's a little fact too. Men know, one, we already know who gonna put up, if you're gonna put up with the shit. 2, we'll leave you alone we'll hurt you, but we'll leave you alone before we really, really hurt you. We'll leave you alone. Well, from a man's standpoint, from a player standpoint, we don't give a fuck. From a man's standpoint, when a man realizes that these things he don't want to do anymore, we'll leave you alone before we hurt you. We'll leave you alone and say, you know what, this ain't gonna work, and sometimes, the man will wait for the woman to say, you know what, I just can't put up with this shit no more, and we'll just say, you know what, me either, and we'll just agree. I ain't gonna do this either. I don't want to do this either. Oh, so you were just waiting on, then it turns into a big old argument, but whatever. But understand that it's this dating in this era, this dating era is trash. It's
Mhm.
trash. It's hard. I'm 53. You're somewhere up there. I ain't gonna put your age out there. I did last time. I forgot. But 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 we up there, and we got to understand that everybody at our age comes with at least 50 years of baggage.
Mhm.
You know, and so yeah, men, we need to put up with the shit that comes with it, and men don't want to take responsibility for what other men did to other women. But how about this, fellas? You've done some shit too to some of these women, and just because you didn't do it to this woman that you're trying to be with, that comes with a gang of baggage, don't mean you need to not clean up.
And that's so true, because they are creating wounded women and then mad when they get a wounded woman. Well,
Exactly,
if
exactly,
you're not checking your brothers, you're gonna wind up with a whole bunch of wounded women, because you hopping from one to the other, knowing
exactly.
that most women are looking for more than just most women are looking for more than just some dick.
Yeah, yeah,
Even if they're not looking for marriage. I think me and you have talked about, I'm not necessarily pushing for marriage, but I'm not sure, I'm not looking for somebody to just want to sleep with me, because there's okay, I don't want to sound funny, but you can find that anywhere.
yeah,
Penises are out here plentifully,
yeah.
being offered on a daily. So that's not what you're looking for. You want something that's more than that. And so when these men, and why do they lie? Why lie? Why lie your way into some sex?
Well, I don't consider it lying.
What do you
I,
consider it?
I consider it. I mean, I just I talk my way into it, but it's still you're still being nice. You still I just call it manipulation. You're manipulating the situation.
You manipulating the situation. In other words, you are doing whatever is necessary to get what you want,
Saying whatever is
i.e.,
necessary.
sometimes that means not telling the exact truth, which could then be defined as a lie. I mean,
Yeah,
I do that as well sometimes, but omission of the truth.
right, right, and like if you just simple something simple. If I meet a young lady and I emphasize her beauty and tell her how beautiful she is, I'm not lying. I'm embellishing to make her feel super, super great and super, super comfortable. So she will give up the sex. He's so nice to me. He always calls me beautiful. He says the greatest things. And I'm not lying, because you are beautiful. But I just want to have sex. I don't want nothing beyond that. That's not lying. That's manipulating the situation. Because there are women that take those things, but I always say it's like picking a lock. You got to use the key that works. You got to use the key the thing that works on that person to get it. And it's not lying, because you're telling the truth. I just years ago, I was in Milwaukee, and this young lady, she wasn't ugly, but wasn't beautiful. The prettiest thing about her was her lips. And so that's what I complimented her on. I was like, "Ooh, you got some pretty lips, girl. Come here, let me suck on that lip."
Oh Lord.
"Oh, you so sweet." And then she bent over and let me suck on her lip.
Oh.
I mean, really, that's all it takes, is to say the right thing. And it's not lying. The lying comes in when the female catches feelings via the sex and how sweet you treat them and how nice you treat them, that they think that they're the only one. And only pimps will say, "Bitch is more than you." Only pimps will. Only pimps will. Players are going to be players, and they're going to lie about who's number one and who's number two, or whether you're number one or the only one. The dudes that are in the middle of pimping and being a player are what's called max. and we tell whatever we need to tell to get what we need to get. Period.
Okay, so there's pimps, players, and Macs, and the Mac is in between a pimp and a player.
Yeah. See, because a player gonna lie all the time. A Mac gonna tell you the truth and he gonna lie. He gonna tell you whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, that's what he gonna tell you.
So he gonna tell you enough truth where when he lie, you think it's the truth.
Thank you. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
And sometimes Max ain't gonna say nothing to you because you're gonna ask a question, and because he has told you so many truths, he can give you a look like, what the fuck you asked me that question for? Why would you ask like that? And that look will make you say, I'm sorry, baby. I won't ask you that no more. Thank you. So now he ain't gotta lie. So I mean, but
this barbershop talk be getting real.
Yeah, I mean, you're very rarely gonna hear a dude. See, I'm not that dude that be trying to sugarcoat shit for Facebook and get all the likes, and I'm not that dude that my personal life, who I am and what I am as a person, I've been through some things, but I don't project it on everybody. I don't project it on. How much time we got left? About 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
You talking about on the show?
Yeah.
We got 19.
About 15 minutes, Doc. But we don't. I don't sugarcoat stuff to get likes. I've never been, will never ever be that person. If you don't like what the hell I said, so be it. You know, I mean, because I'm a guy that I'm always keep it real, whether people like it or not. I'm gonna tell my girl, say, baby, do I look fat in this dress? Yeah, baby, you do. Put on the like. I'm not gonna say, and she'll say, you wasn't supposed to say that. And well, shit, you asked me a question. I don't, you know, you're supposed to make it sound good. Hey, you know I love you. Yeah, I know you love me. Well, shit, however I say it is however I say it.
That's pretty real, though. That's pretty real.
Yeah, I mean, it's like going to court, and the lawyer asks you a whole bunch of questions, and you answer the damn question, and it's the same damn question over and over again, but it's just reworded different. So if you want a different answer, you reword it. Baby, you like this dress? No, I don't like that dress. Don't ask me if you're fat. Ask me if you like it, if I like the dress.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, that's how most men are gonna respond.
So if I come out and say, do you like this dress on me? And you don't, I'll take that differently than if I come out and say, do I look fat in this dress?
Yes, you'll take that different.
Right.
Because
now I look fat versus you just don't like that dress on me for whatever.
Exactly. Because that's what's already in your head. You already think you look fat in the dress. And we just co-signed it. You, baby, do I look fat in this dress? Yeah, baby, you look fat. Put the other dress on. Yeah, because you already know you look fat. That's why you asked the question. But if you ask a different question, some women are so insecure that even if they ask a different question, you know what they're gonna say? Oh, so you think I'm fat in this dress? You think you calling me fat? No, nigga, you asked me a question. I gave you the answer to the question. You know, don't. If you could have just told me I was fat. Well, yeah, you go there. That's insecure. You ask me a question, I'm gonna give you the answer. Period. And I hope you're not insecure, and I hope you don't want to argue because I'm gonna win. I mean, I'm telling you, there's this. But I mean, you know, on the man side, men do the same shit. We just do it a little differently. We'll say, like your man with these comments, and he must have had a promiscuous woman that fucked up his household. So if you had a promiscuous woman that fucked up the nuclear family, you must have had a nuclear family and you had somebody on the outside. That fucked up you know what I'm saying? See, people don't look into that shit. I pay attention to words. So you're telling on yourself And then you have the audacity to go so far as to say it's the woman's fault. It's
Always.
not. It's not the damn woman's fault. 99% of the things that go on in this earth that's fucked up is the man's fault. I'll say 90. I'll say 90% is the man's fault.
Wow.
We make women think the way they think because we don't want to stand up to responsibility.
Wow, man. When I replay this show, I think they're gonna come for you, Jeff.
Man, come, bring them. You should have brought them when instead of them coming, you should have brought them with you. Should have brought them with you. But see, real dudes are not going to say are going to deny this. I say this to my clients all the time. Think about this. Think about this, and this is how big it's gotten. Where women say they don't want to listen to. I don't feel like listening to no man like your girl Dee Dee. I don't want to be no slave. Blah 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 blah. But these same women run out and go get ass and titties. Why? Because men make women think that we like ass and titties because we go to the strip joint, we throw money up, we make facial gestures every time we see a nice ass, and other women that don't have a man or don't have an ass, like, damn, that's what men like, so they go buy one. That's a woman doing what a man says. Unconsciously, she's doing what she thinks what she think a man wants. So that's what she go do. And then she'll say, I'm doing this for myself. I want it to feel good about myself. You'll stop lying. You're lying. You're not doing it for yourself. Because in the 80s, women didn't care if they had an ass or not. They just wanted to do what they had to do to keep their man. They didn't care how big their ass was. In the 90s, women didn't care. They cared about how they looked. Because a man will say, oh, girl, you look good in that. I like that. That stripper shit, when niggas was going to the strip club and throwing thousands of dollars and tens of thousands of dollars up, that's why women say, shit, women want to get on the damn stripper pole. Talking about they want to appease their man. If I wanted you to appease me on the stripper pole, I'd have got the stripper. I mean, that's not, men don't want, we want to have sex with those things. Now, if you're a beautiful woman and you happen to have ass and titties, great. That's a plus. But if you, man, but women do it. Women do it, and they unconsciously do it because, how about this? Women also want to be independent because niggas ain't shit.
You required to be independent, but then because a lot of men are not stepping up in that role anymore. But then if you're independent, I was reading a post on Facebook the other morning, and this guy was talking about independent women. And, basically, I think being independent means that you can take care of yourself. And as an adult, most people should be independent, but, a successful woman and an independent woman, to me, is two different things. A successful woman means a woman that has set a goal. For me, it means an entrepreneur more so, or someone who works a 9-to-5 but has investment in other, projects and stuff, goals that they're trying to meet. That's a successful person to me. An independent person to me, and I'm just saying for me, they generally work a 9-to-5, and most 9-to-5ers spend most of their money just paying bills and keeping up. They might take a vacation once or twice a year. A successful person has higher goals than that. And I'm not saying that to, degrade anyone. I'm just saying that these are my definitions of those two words. But men are on social media knocking independent women because they're not waiting for a man to pay their bills, because ain't no man coming to pay your bills in this society today. That is not what they look for.
Because these sorry ass niggas need their bills paid.
A lot of them do.
Yeah,
because they got child support out the.
Yeah, but whose fault is that?
It's their fault.
Yeah, because it ain't you. I mean, if you wasn't good enough to the woman that you had kids by, and I'm not just talking about physically. I'm talking about taking care of responsibilities, and then the relationship just doesn't work. The woman, if you took care of responsibilities and the relationship just didn't work, that woman knows in the back of her mind, he's going to take care of his kids.
Right.
But if you're in the relationship and you ain't took care of no responsibilities, you halfway paid the bills, and you just a sorry ass nigga and you ain't doing shit, that's why your ass on child support. It ain't got nothing to do with her being broke. It ain't got nothing to do with her not being responsible, or she don't want to take care of the kids. She don't want to take care of the kids by herself, and she gonna make you do it because you don't do shit else.
Right.
I got 3 kids by 3 different baby mamas, and neither one of them put me on child support. Because they knew I would take care of my, matter of fact, I had sole custody of my youngest son. He been with Jeff Jr. been with me since he was 6. So I only speak from experience, because all my other kids, mama knew that I would take care of my kids. I took care of my responsibility. I always had money. I was always doing things for my daughter. My daughter is the oldest. I always did stuff for my daughter. Her mama knew I wasn't gonna be no slouch, even though we weren't together. And not one time did she ever think about putting me on child support. If she did, I don't know about it.
Right. I have the same experience as well. My oldest daughter's father, I never put him on child support. He's a great father. He's a great grandfather, because I don't know if you know this, but I just had my 5th grandchild yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so he's a great grandfather. He's probably a better grandfather than I am a better grandmother to a few of our grandkids, So you do know the difference, when that guy is committed to his own. Because for some reason, men say, she had the baby. But Jeff, why can't I get men to understand this? I just want to ask you this real quick, because I know we're getting close to the end, but do men understand that if you do not add sperm to the equation, there can never be a baby?
Yeah, men do know that.
Because when I say it on different posts, the men say, she has options, she can take birth control, and I go right back to the fact that it takes a sperm
and an egg
to hit the egg. Because we always got eggs. We always got eggs. We got eggs. We always got eggs. But if you do not let your sperm get inside of us, there can't be no baby.
Yeah. That's where your pullout game comes. It's 3 things. It's 3 things to not have a baby. 3 things. The number 1 thing to do to not have a baby is not have sex.
There you go.
That's the number 1 thing. The second thing is to put a condom on.
Absolutely.
The third one is get your pullout game on top. Get your pullout game. Be good at pulling out. You better be good at pulling out. If you ain't, use a condom or stop fucking.
Listen, I say, first of all, choose who you having sex with wisely, because accidents always happen, even with the best pullout game. So if this chick is crazy, they always telling women, if he got a bunch of kids by a bunch of women and ain't taking care of none, take that into consideration. Well, if she got a bunch of kids by a bunch of men, take that into consideration too. And that might not be the chick you want to have sex with, just because it might be easy to have sex with her, because you might wind up being one of them bunch of men that she got a baby with. That's the first thing. The second thing, and this is what I told my stepson, always wrap that mug up. Always put a condom on. Put that condom on unless y'all are in a relationship and having a child is something you have discussed the possibilities of. Because anytime you stick that thing in her raw, because not even in pulling out, because in the pre-cum, there's sperm in the pre-cum. Not as much as in the ejaculation, of course, but there's sperm in the pre-cum. Yeah. So the only time you going in somebody raw is when y'all in something for real, respect each other, know each other's, intents and purposes. And if she get pregnant, y'all already got a plan ahead of time. Either y'all not gonna keep it or y'all are gonna keep it. And there's some conversation had about that. And the third thing is, Again, always wear condoms.
Always work on. Man, that's why I'm completely I'm glad to be out the game. I'm glad to be out the game. I'm glad to be, in the position that I'm in, because um I mean there's a lot of other things that happen behind being out, and I just don't want to be out here no more. I mean, I'm not just doing it just because I don't want to be out here no more. I pursued what I wanted, and I got it, and because I don't want to be out here no more,
I
and I
don't
don't.
really want to be out here anymore either. I think that men have far more options because, for one, well, I don't think a lot of women are cougars. I think there's women that are cougars, but not, I don't, anything below 45 is, I'm not really looking there, And then once you get over 45 with men, especially men who have been single for a while and they've been eating a lot of fast food, they got health issues and of course, that erectile dysfunction stuff. And some of them
Mhm.
have had extra babies. And so now they coming with a 4, 7, 10-year-old, I'm not, my youngest kid is 30. I'm not trying to help you raise your kids. I'm just not. You got anything under 18 or that's living in the house with you, I'm not interested in any of that. So I'm not happy about being out here either, but it just seems like the options are very limited when it comes to they say women are too picky, but I mean it's sometimes it's just stuff you don't want to deal with, you
But
know.
you see how on this side you don't want to deal with no nigga with kids, but you were on the flip side, and I ain't gonna say you, but I'm gonna say other women like you would want for a man to come in and take care of somebody else's child.
Now, see, so here's my thing, because somebody said that to me, because once my youngest turned 18, generally my rule has been, so when I had kids, I would have dated a guy with kids. I had 2 girls, so he could have 2, whatever, around the same age. And that's generally been how I've been the whole time. Ironically, when I had kids, the men, and I was in relationships the whole time, I think I was single maybe 3 years during the time my kids were younger, after my husband was killed. Well, okay, 4 years, because it was a year and a half that I didn't date at all. I don't necessarily count that, but anyway, ironically, I didn't wind up dating any men that had kids when I had kids and was raising them, and I was in relationships that whole time. At this point, I'm done with that part of my life. So
Right.
whether I expected someone to take me and my kids, which I didn't expect that. I didn't, it didn't even matter to me, because if you weren't going to accept my kids, I wasn't going to date you anyway. And that's the whole thing with men pursuing, because men come for the woman that they want. And so if you coming for me because you want me, then either you're gonna take me and my kids or you not. And if you not, at the time I was doing fine at the time by myself with the kids. So, my husband was killed. So there was income coming in anyway. No matter what I did, there was just always gonna be income coming in. So yeah, I don't think that it's wrong for a woman to set the standard. At my age now, I have grandkids, and so it's totally out of the question for me to have a man that has a 15-year-old daughter.
Right.
That, because actually that was like one of the worst years of teenagehood with a girl that I experienced in my life. So that's a trigger.
Right.
Yeah, so I think women can set that standard, especially if their kids are adults and you've been through that already. Who wants to go back?
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, like for me, and I know we almost at time, but for me, um, in my last marriage, she had 2 kids, and I'm just naturally a father, and so because I had the woman, I had to, and that's what I was dealing with. I had to accept what comes with the package, you know, and I was kind of I did kind of questioning, like, damn, do I really want to do, you know, 2 kids, and be around, and I think that's why it kind of just fell apart. But um
Because it's a choice, and everybody
so
has a choice.
Yeah.
I've had men definitely tell me that I was selfish and this and that and the other. And I said, that's my choice. And they said, well, what about the men that dated you when you had kids? I said, that was their choice. Do I have to make the same choice because they made that choice? No,
Right. Nope.
absolutely not.
Not at all.
Not at all. So, all right. Well, I guess we're going to wrap up this segment of Barbershop Talk. It's been really great. I was really hoping that Charles or Dee Dee would pop on in here because that would have been interesting. But, maybe we'll get them in on the show next month and you can chat with them. And maybe we'll even bring Steve Tolles in on the show next
Yeah.
month because you have some bones to pick with all of them. We'll get them all in here so we can chat about it. That'll be very interesting. So what would you like to say to the listeners as you sign off, and where can they come and get their hair cut?
Yeah, come on down when you're in Dallas. Come on down to Astute Gentleman, where you're gonna get the finest haircut, the best service in Texas. You get a cigar, you can smoke you a cigar, you get some whiskey, some beer, sit back and have a good conversation, man. We Astute Gentleman Barber and Cigar Lounge at 14223 Inwood Road, Farmers Branch, Texas, 75244. You can also follow me on Instagram at Astute Gentleman or the World Class Barber. You can also follow me on Facebook as Jeffrey World Class Barber, or you can follow me on Astute Gentleman, and you can follow me at Barbershop Talk on Facebook. Barbershop Talk with Jeff and Frey. That's my other podcast that I do. I was trying to get Frey on to get on with us today to be a part of this conversation, but because it's a lot that goes with it. We have these conversations all the time in the barbershop, but I really appreciate you. Again, we still got work to do, so let's get it cracking.
We're gonna absolutely get it cracking. And for next month's show, get all your info together. I'm gonna see if I can get those 3 people on the show. So
oh yeah, I saved these posts.
okay.
This time I saved the posts, so they in my little archive saved. So when jokers want to talk.
All right. Yeah. All right, World Class Barber, that's Jeffrey Davis. And today is January 21st. If you are listening to a replay of this show, be sure and catch the live shows on Mondays from 7 to 9 and Thursdays and Fridays from 12 to 2.